discuss topic of the week, acquiring first 100 customers for your SaaS. We will cover everything from ICP identification and funnel building to price discovery and building trust. Our goal is to provide you with actionable insights and practical strategies that you can apply to your own SaaS products. Throughout the session, we encourage you to engage with us by asking questions and sharing your thoughts. This is a fantastic opportunity to learn from each other and gain new insights that can help drive your SaaS initiatives forward. So let's get started. Jay, Kaushik, how are we doing today?
Uh,
Fantastic, absolutely.
great, nice.
Awesome. How are things, Kaushik?
Little hectic, but nice to be here. Sorry.
Nice to be here. Okay, awesome. So, just by way of introduction, as you can see, Jai is our co-founder and head of growth, and Kaushik is our co-founder and head of design. We have another co-founder, who's Harsh, who's not available today, but he'll be joining us from the next office hours onwards for sure. So we're discussing acquiring first 100 customers, right? So Jai have a couple of questions lined up for you. Like the first thing that want to
Yeah.
understand is how do you, so in early stages when you have like first few customers,
Mhm.
what is the process through which you reaching out to prospects over LinkedIn, or you're doing cold emails, or you're meeting them at events and things like that? How do you qualify the people that you're speaking to?
Yeah, so ideally, starting from the scratch, first of all, there should be just one approach or one goal that I am looking forward to solve through my product. So that's where I will be looking forward to. We're talking about just getting initial, even before starting and getting first 100 customers. Let's talk about getting first 10 customers, right? So even for that, my first goal should be that okay, I am having this product and it's going to solve these challenges. These challenges I have, faced somewhere around, or maybe I've seen someone facing around, and that's where I've come up with a solution. So
Mhm.
talking about getting the first initial customers, first before that I think people should look out for first initial users who are going to give them the right feedback. So not just charging directly for the product, but first having more users and first understanding from them on what are the main challenges. Because many a times what happens, and this is what I also observed talking to a lot of SaaS founders, is that they are at times are having some thought process, but which may or may not be apparently the end users might be facing through. So what I'm trying to say is, initially first get initial users, first try to understand what problem they are solving, identify the target group. From that target group we might want to define what are the ICPs, but then before going to ICPs, we will reach out to that target group, have my maximum speech out there that I'm solving this solution, I'm giving this solution. When I say having my maximum speech out there, I mean that I'll be going to networking events, I'll be posting constantly on social media. um, I'll be also launching to some email lists. So let's say my product is targeting set of agencies, then I would be looking out for some data where I can get those agencies. I'll be utilizing platforms like Clay, or even for the starters like Apollo, and I'll be reaching out to those people, just writing a very small email sequence right on that, hey, I'm looking out for I'm building a product for this set of people that you are also falling into, and I'm trying to make something amazing for people like you, and I'd be really happy to have you on board for a quick 15-minute conversation. What that could
Mhm.
give us is, that could give us the basic idea with respect to what exactly they are looking forward to, and we'll be able to find out the value that they are looking for, value that they are seeking. Once we have that, I mean, initial. So the goal would be to reduce either their time, either their spend, or their effort altogether, which eventually will increase their efficiency. So if I'm able to find out the common points among these calls with my existing users, which I got from my initial campaigns, I'll be planning on setting up my pricing accordingly. And from there in there itself, I'll be asking them that would you be ready to pay for if I'm building this solution for you. So initially it was just a discussion based on the beta version, but now I'm looking for a feature which is a hardcore product which could be launched, and we can get started from there. Also, I would like to add that while we are talking about initial 10 customers, even before the 100 customers, it is very important to incentivize on incentivize them for early adoption, because there are a lot of products in the market. If they have spent time giving you the feedback, they also have some hopes that, yeah, definitely there could be some output from there, and they're looking for some benefit out of it for sure, right? So based on the same, we can definitely give them our some incentives based on some credits for the wallet, or maybe some goodies. Even what I've observed is that simply $50 Amazon voucher is something which appeals people to, just get started, and they'll go ahead for the product and sign up, which could have a like lifetime value of more than $500. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Kaushik, do you have any question?
Yeah. So, Jay, one thing is that like, how do you identify your ideal, customers? And specifically, even within the ideal customers, we have certain dedicated set of people. You know that you can make them, or you can convince them to get this product, right? Like, so
Yeah.
how do you identify this set, and where do you find the set? That's also important. So, how do you know that this dedicated audience is present in this particular space? There might be in some Reddit space, or some group over there, or some of them could be somewhere else. How do you identify that in the first place?
Right. So, I mean, this is a very generic question on how to identify, because when it comes to SaaS products, their end users could range from any age, any category of work, and obviously any geography, right? So, first, what we need to do is we need to first have our own one line, when we say elevator pitch, one sentence elevator pitch ready for us. And based on that, I think we should have our target group identified. So when I say target group, let's say we are talking about a product which is dealing with, let's say, a basic tool which helps you scraping on leads, right? So lead scrapers can be used for any B2B company which is seeking their prospects. So now if I say that, okay, I'll be selling to in agencies who are into lead scraping, or I'll be doing it for end companies. So I mean, when we are talking about this, first we need to identify that what are the target groups that I can resemble to, and whose problems I can understand better and faster. So it's all about going into niche. It's not about finding the juggling between lots of target groups and all that. So initially you might want to define three target groups. From that you want to narrow it. So when I say three target groups, then you might want to reach out to people from all these three target groups, try to understand their challenges, and see where your product is resembling the most. From there you narrow it down to, from three target groups to, you define it to two, and then from there also, now that there could be a chance, as you mentioned, that people are ready to pay from different categories as well, even when you have just your MVP launch, right? So that is fine. So if you are able to get various set of customers from different target groups, then you might want to have a detailed ICP identification done via some data points. So what we did in client joy before as well, right? So we were able to so we had people who were into agencies, were people from coach and consultant, and there were other separate freelancers as well who were having totally different business and not even into IT or digital marketing. So what we did was that we categorized these things. We categorize that where are the we categorize based on their geography, their profession, their team size, and we only categorize these people who were actually our customers and not the freemium users, right? So in those cases, we were knowing that okay, they are ready to pay. Ultimately, it's about increasing the customer. So what you would do is just list down all the people who have paid for your product, even if it is like anywhere between 50 to 60. Categorize them based on their profiles, team size, geography, and also, since it's an initial call, it's very important as a founder to go into sales calls or just have a customer calls with them, try to understand why they figured out, how they figured out the product, and how much it is helping, and how much they are willing to pay more or upgrade for a larger plan if more features are added. So those set of we need to have such columns where the responses are also recorded. Based on that, we might want to filter out and see that which is the most easiest option amongst these. Once you get that, that would help us to, so this would lead to what, that you initially have three target groups, all of them are your customers, but you now get to know that okay, from them 65% were only for this particular target group, just like how we identified for client, as I mentioned, right? So initially we were seeing that it's a CRM for agencies and freelancers, but then once we did ICP identification, we got to know that there were like 65, more than 65% were 11 to 50 team size agencies from North America, and those were also digital marketing agencies. So then that helped us in optimizing our marketing and growth in terms of that all the copies that we wrote for our SEO, all the copies that we wrote in our also social media and everywhere wherever we went, everything was targeted to that particular target group based on our understanding after our research on what is their lingo, how do they operate, and how do they where are they present. So in this case that's where it comes that okay, yeah, they are present to this set of forums, so let's try to jump into that and do our outbound as well from it. So yeah, it's about narrowing down, in
Yeah.
short. Yeah, and we
Yeah,
also have
so
one resource. So sorry, yes. So
no,
we also have one resource for that. If anyone is struggling with this, we have a resource where they can use our template, and from there they can define their ICP as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we've actually, so that's what I was
yeah,
going to share as well. That
yeah,
we'll be linking the link to the resource wherever you're watching it, whether it is LinkedIn or YouTube or Twitter. We'll be putting in the link to the resource that you can get to figure out what your ICP definition is. And
yeah,
one of the other things that I was also noticing was that I saw a video where somebody was asking very similar question to Sam Altman around organization building and firm building. And one of the things that he said in that conversation was that most of the companies that he's invested in or he's been a part of or he's played a role in the journey of scaling, he's realized that acquiring large percentage of a very small market first is a good way to is a good way for scaling up going forward, right? So typically, because there are there's an ecosystem of investors and mentors and white papers and reports and stuff like that which talk about the size of the market, which is a lot more outside in, right? It doesn't talk
yeah,
necessarily about your product and the use cases of your product. And so that's why if you start by just targeting a very small market but then aim to acquire a large percentage of it, in that journey you'll be able to build playbooks to acquire very similar such smaller markets and then acquiring bigger percentage of those similar smaller markets, right? And call them cohorts, figure out that what is the urgent, important, and frequent problem that they face, and then just go ahead and acquire those customers. The next question that I had is sort of a more of a chicken and egg problem,
okay.
right? And which is in the journey of acquiring your first 100 customers, like at what point of time do you come and arrive at pricing, which is like, do you acquire customers and then think about pricing? Do you think about pricing and then acquire customers? What are your thoughts on that?
So, as you mentioned, it's a chicken and egg problem. So, it's more of an iterative process, right? I heard from a very good fellow, I don't remember the person, but I heard a very good quote from someone that keep increase, just start with
So
the
if you
price that you have
if
in
you don't
mind.
remember if you don't remember the person, just say unknown Chinese proverb. so,
Yeah,
so that always works, right? So as long as we remember the wisdom, it's okay
yeah.
to forget the source.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, so according to a very famous Chinese proverb, I hope we are able to cut the initial. Yeah. So, coming to the point, how you can, so it's an iterative process for sure. From lot of articles that I've read through and lot of conversations that I've had, um, initially you just start with what your competitor is doing. So let's say you have certain feature set and a similar competitor targeting the same target group. Again, it's very important. So when we know that, we'll be trying, since we are early, we might want to have a little lesser pricing from there. But then from there itself, you keep on increasing the price, adding features, obviously after its validation, and you keep on increasing, and you stop at the point where people stop paying you. So till that time, you keep on increasing the price. So yeah, that should be the approach. On just start with one pricing based on your understanding of your competitors, have your
Mhm.
little advantage by having little less at that point of time, and then keep iterating, keep increasing the price till the point where people
Till the
are
conversion
not
rate
ready.
drops or people are like, oh,
Yeah,
hey, this is just becoming unaffordable, right? So
exactly.
something to that effect.
Yeah,
Got it. So I've actually this works for the first 100 customers for sure. But
yeah,
then, I mean, I'll sort of have an argument against this as well, which is that SaaS is an extremely competitive space, and there's a good chance that if you're in the market for 2 years or 3 years or more, there will be some other incumbent for whom you are the competitor, right?
Yeah.
And so they've started with a lesser price, and if they've built a better product, which is not difficult to do in today's day and age,
Yeah.
then uh, you will have to sort of climb down of the high horse that you're riding on, and then sort of reduce your price as well. But
Yeah.
I think these are great problems to have because they happen
Yeah.
at scale. And
Yeah.
so if you're talking about acquiring first 100 customers, then I think this is a great approach. Kaushik?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually thinking this thing that like in the cohorts that we create, adding up to that point. Also, and also I'm trying to tie up both the questions. Is that in the cohorts that you identify, identifying a cohort that pays is also very important. So,
Yeah.
so yeah,
So if a cohort is not paying, it
it's a,
doesn't
It's not a
even live on
cohort.
the spreadsheet, right? It's not even a cohort.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it has to pay. There's nothing. There's no end. I think it's called Transtuffle or something like that, right? So there ain't no such thing as free lunch. So if they don't pay, then they are not even on the spreadsheet. Forget about your like
Yeah.
yeah.
strategies and funnels and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, so I was just thinking around those lines. It's like that also brings up to this other point, right? Like how founders are so focused towards building and compared towards at what
Yeah.
point you should start selling becomes a question.
Yeah, I mean, we keep on saying this repeatedly to our clients that don't fall into one more feature trap. I mean, and there is also something which we amongst ourselves have been speaking commonly. What happens is that this is something which has been observing, which we have observed for the SaaS founders who are having a technical background, basically engineering background. So at times it happens that they would have a thinking process that okay, let me build this, and okay, when they are building this, they get to know by speaking to users who are actually most of the cases are free users, at times are the premium users, or it may not be of that cohort as well. But then what people do is that people have the habit of like, yeah, I want this as well and that as well. So what they do from the customer calls is that they take the feedback, they understand that okay, this feature is needed from this customer, they add it in their feature request list, and then when they are going into the calls, they always talk about what more feature you need of sorts. This keeps them into a loop where they think that okay, my product needs this more one more feature, and that's only when I should be able to sell it. Let me just build it once, and then I'll focus on GTM based on that. But I mean, this has been a talk most commonly in lots of places in lots of SaaS communities, and people are like literally like, no, just don't do that. Leave that aside and just only focus on selling. Selling is the only thing that you need to do it. I mean, once you have the customers, then obviously you can add more features. But that is what Yash said, that you figure out one particular niche, you scale it on that, take more percentage of small niche. Now that you know that you have mastered this, and then if you want to build more feature to get maybe another dedicated group, then it is fine. Or if you want to upsell it, then if you are adding more features, that is fine. So yeah.
Mhm. True.
So one of the uh, challenges that happens at an early stage when we are like just built an MVP or a very early stage like a POC or something like that of a SaaS product,
Yeah.
and then now we are speaking to, let's say, first 10, 15, 20 prospects, and the challenge often happens that if we are a SaaS product, more often than not we will either have to host some amount of customer data onto our platform, or we will have to integrate using APIs or something like that into their existing workflows. And and typically, like, early customers are always worried because they don't know what company you're running, where are you coming from, who are you, like there's no context. The product is good, it solves a problem, the pricing is okay, it's affordable, gives good value, good ROI. However, in first few conversations or first few sales related engagements, I would say, trust is a really big challenge, right? So when you're trying to acquire your first few customers, what would you say? How should a SaaS company go about building trust in the market?
Um, I mean, See, initially it's all about founder, right? People, just like how from investor point of view as well, they don't invest in products, they invest in founders, especially in pre-seed and seed stage as well. So same way, I believe when it comes to getting initial customers and when they are having the challenges or when they are having trouble with respect to trust building, that whether my data will be secure or not. Obviously, you can have some compliance set up at the early stage so that you have that thing to back off. But then more than that. It's more about what value we are trying to solve, and always about about the founder being then transparent. More transparency the founder has, more visibility the person has, then definitely people would obviously trust on that part, I believe. Yeah, but it's a challenge for sure at times, but then it's all about again the profile that you show, the profile that you showcase yourself as.
Got it. Kaushik, any questions you have? I
Yeah.
have one more question. I can take it after this one.
No, I was thinking that most often whenever a founder is anyone is trying to build an MVP or a product, I think the common thought process that people have, uh, founders have, is that you build a product, you think that you have created a really good mousetrap for your ideal customers, and you think that people are going to march towards you, right? But that's not the case. It's not like you build it, you sit there, and people are going to come towards you. And so most of the times, I think most successful companies they have reached out they have reached out to their potential customers, and manually they have onboarded their potential users into their product, right?
Yeah.
So with respect to this in mind, like from your perspective, like how do you think companies should approach this in the first place? First, getting first 100 customers, 100 users is one point, but getting those first 10 itself is the start of that push that's
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah. So, so when you have a competitor in mind, and if you want to just, just take away their customers from there, there are a lot of great tools available in the market, right? Where you can just, I mean, just you can use those tools, and based on that, you will be able to understand that, yeah, I mean, just you get a people who are using that product, and based on that, you can just reach out to them, writing a sequence, saying that, hey, I understand, and you know that even using that product is a frustration, right? So you directly have your subject line written in a way where they are opening your email that, yeah, this person understands that I'm using this product and having this challenge, so they will open it, write a short story about it. Hey, I was also using this product, having this challenge. Based on that, I started building this solution. Would you be open to chat and help me improve it? Probably we are going to be, same people in same boat, struggling to get to the same destination. So something like that. So yeah, I mean, it's all about getting the right data. If you have your competitor defined, and if you want to reach out to especially those people, then you need to know that what challenges people are facing in using that product, because every product has their own challenges for sure. And just reach out to maximum people. There will be people who are going to answer you that, yeah, I am facing that challenge, and those could be your initial customers. Also, Yash, answering your previous question, one thing came to my mind with respect to not just compliance, but then when there is a challenge with trust building. For example, someone is saying that, hey, how do I keep my data on you? So we can say always that the data is hosted on, let's say for example, if in my case, if I have a SaaS product and I am having the whole hosting on AWS, and I can say that it is hosted on AWS, so it's completely secure. It's not that I'm putting it in any of my local hosting or any random hosting or servers like that. So having the name, first of all, we need to figure out the right partners, what we are going to keep uh, when it comes to product, and based on that, we need to utilize their names and their compliances and their trusts over our product, and that's how we might be able to get initial trust from our potential customers. I guess you are on mute.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oops. Sorry for that. So I have last question, and then I think we'll close the office hours for today. So how do you? One of the other things that I've always wondered is that we've got to appear bigger, right? So these are all the answers that you've given up until now. The founder, like you are basically selling a SaaS product where the founder has the opportunity to speak to the customer. Then there could be SaaS products which are B2C SaaS products or even B2B SaaS products, but the ticket size is so small
Yeah,
that like it's $5 per user or something like that, or
yeah,
$15 per user, where from an economical viability standpoint doesn't make sense for the founder to do any outbound sales activity, right, or any sort of sales motion. They want to build an inbound motion,
yeah.
and in that case you're going to do some marketing activities. You've created your funnels and people have landed onto your website, and then they're going to sign up and see, and you're going to have conversion rates across that funnel. In those cases, how do you as a SaaS company appear bigger than what you actually are, right? What are some, like, a couple of tips and tricks that you could use to show that, hey, we are uh, without mis leading the prospect or misleading the user, showcasing that, hey, here's how big we are.
Yeah. So coming to that, obviously, very interesting point. This is pretty much applicable for low ticket inbound SaaS, right? Where the ticket size are fairly up to $20 to $30 max, or it could be around in hundreds as well. Now, in this cases, it's not feasible for everyone to go into the demo calls and having customer calls back to back to get the trust building. For this, first of all, the asset should be like, one thing is for sure that the messaging should be same throughout all the copies on all the digital assets, because digital assets are the salespeople in this point of time, right? um, they are marketing tools, but also they are obviously going to be the salespeople as well. So your
Yeah.
website should have the same messaging, same message should go in your social media, and same for all the other places where it is present. That is first. And statistics is where more trust you should know how to play. I don't know if there's a better way to say it, but you should know how to play with statistics. You can
Okay.
mention that you have people from these many places who are already there, to show yourself as a bigger one. I guess it's all about what impact you have created,
Mhm.
on lives of your customers. So uh, let's say for example, if I am having if, let's say if, for example, if I am having an invoicing tool, only an invoicing tool, then what I will do is how much payment is being happening from my tool on a monthly basis is what I'm going to showcase, and that
Right.
would be the main messaging throughout my website and every selling point of time, even in my ad copies and everywhere. So people are only going to believe on that. Yeah, that okay, I mean, people are only going to be sold on that particular point, that okay, this product is the one where this many million of payment happens every month.
Mhm.
So this is somewhere, this adds more trust to me, and then maybe I would want to go ahead. Does that
Interesting.
answer the question?
To a large extent, yes. But interesting, yeah. And with that, we come to the end of the first
Yeah.
momentum office hours. I hope all the people who had who were a part of this, who were watching this, you enjoyed this. Over the next few weeks and months, we'll be making this a little bigger and better. This was the first office hours that we did, and I hope this was helpful. If you still have any questions, you can put those in comments and we'll respond to those questions after our office hours as well. But thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Kaushik. Until next time.
Thank you, Yash and Kaushik.
Thanks. Thanks all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.